Hi guys, how you going? My name's Campbell and this is the Autodidactic channel, and autodidactic means to be self-educated, and believe me guys, you want to be self-educated because you do not want to be learning what they are teaching. Alright, so here's a quick video. This is all to do with the mud floods, Tartaria, the ancient architecture we're finding everywhere. So this is a fort I found called Fort Jefferson. It's a six-sided fort. And it's 70 miles west of Key West in Florida, in the Florida Keys. Well, 70 miles west, it's basically in the Bahamas. This is it. As you can see, it's pretty big. It's in the shape of a pentagon, and it has a wall around it, which creates this moat. Now, this, we are told, was built in the 1800s. It was started around 1846. They had a few issues with it. As you can see, it looks like there was more land here too at some point. But yeah, it was built in started in 1846 as a military base. Basically, what they wanted to do is build this fort so they could sit out there and deter pirates and shoot cannons at pirate ships. And this is what they built, and it contains 16 million bricks. And look at the architecture here. It's all the red brick, all the proper nice architecture, the windows we see everywhere with these nice arches in them, and obviously look at this moat that goes all the way around it. And these are what we were told were built to put cannons in so they could shoot the cannons, and this of course was all built by slaves pretty much. Most of the labour force were slaves and conscripted soldiers. It does say in Wikipedia that there was a few skilled people, skilled craftsmen, but not many. You can see it's had a bit of damage here. What they say is, and this is it actually, it goes underwater, so it was built on top of a coral reef or a coral outcrop, atoll type thing, and the walls there, they actually go down under the water and sit on the reef. So again, how were they building that? So here you see the wall coming straight down and sitting under the water on the reef. And I think there's one more, this one. Okay, so this is all built by slaves, untrained, unskilled craftsmen basically, is what they're trying to tell us. Now, 16 million bricks. Now, how did they get the bricks here? Like, can you imagine the fleet of ships that they would have needed to get 16 million bricks here, let alone build the place? Now this is in the Civil War, so what it says is that it was never finished and used as a barracks, as a barracks to get the bad pirates, but it was used a bit during the Civil War, and it also was used for a while as a prison to house prisoners from the Civil War. So it looks like it's had a bit of damage here, but another shot for you. So this is a massive structure, guys, and this is the inside yard. I think it was 5 acres. And you can see there's a house here, got that classic Romanesque kind of roof on it. All this facade, it looks like they're built in, but look at these windows, and look at the symmetry and geometry of all this. You're telling me that this was all done for a fort to house cannons and soldiers, and it was built by soldiers and slaves predominantly. I mean, it doesn't make sense. This is Harry Truman here somewhere, but look at the entrance door. Look at this. Apart from the fact that it looks like it should have, this is too high. I mean, that's just classic, Greco-Roman. What we're told is Greco-Roman architecture. This is inside Civil War, and they've got a prisoner in there. And look at the depth of these walls. Like this is one big solid building, and also this. See this curved roof? You'll see that a lot more. Now this is underneath. Look at the symmetry again, all the arches, but look at these things on the ground. I don't know what these are. There's another one here. Looks like, I don't know, something might have been turning in them or something. I mean, that may be something to do with the cannons, because these are obviously windows, but you can still see them in the ground here, and they've been covered up or taken down. And here we have another one of these curved brick roofs, which you see in so many buildings. I've seen this literally all around the world. Here another view. But again, the archways, look at these. They're perfect, and the symmetry is just it's what we see everywhere in this ancient, Tartarian, whatever it is, architecture. And again, look at these doorways. And this is built and designed, designed as a fort, to sit out there and capture and blow up pirate ships. This is what it was made for. It ended up not being used as that. It was used a bit in the Civil War, but really 16 million bricks. They were working on it for a long time. Another thing about the bricks is, they made all these plans, they designed it all, they got the land, they did all this stuff, and they didn't have the bricks. They could not source the bricks, which I'll show you a bit later. But here again, this beautiful moat, it's all just, was this built as a moat? Was this once above ground, and was it just walled? Because the sea level seemed to have changed a bit. Here's one of the cannons that was brought over in the Civil War. They were brought over, and again, here's curved brickwork, all red brick. Here's some of those shapes again. So I don't know, it might be something to do with cannons, these things. I don't know. If you've got any more info on that, let me know. And if you're in Florida or anywhere you've been here, leave me some comments and let me know a bit more about it, because it's pretty fascinating. This is today. They've built, a little port there, and of course it's built out of wood, because that's what we do today. And 150 years ago we did this. We built out of brick. Come on, what's going on here? We're going backwards. Again, brick structure. This is probably a lithograph or something. But yeah, again, they've built wooden structures around, but they could build this earlier. So there's a little wooden house here, little docks and stuff. So yeah, they put the little flagpoles up, and there's a lighthouse, which wasn't the original lighthouse. The original lighthouse was taken down in the 1870s, which means it stood for only 10 or 12 years, and they took it down. And here again, you can see, now here, you can't seem to see the wall. I don't know what's going on there. Is there more water? But again, these little boats they've got, this one's obviously a bigger fighting boat, but how did they get the bricks here? There's that doorway again. Excuse me. This, and look at, just this, 1, 2, 3, big one, 1, 2, 3, big one. Why would they go to that, that trouble to finish it like this if it's just a fort to house, prisoners and soldiers? So, yeah, this is Fort Kennedy, 70 miles off Key West in, basically in the Bahamas, isn't it? Okay, let me just try and get to another tab here. Oh, messy desk. Okay, here we go. Fort Jefferson, composed of over 16 million bricks. It's the largest abandoned brick structure in North America. There we go. There it is. But yeah, see this wall? See how there's land on this side? So it's like a moat, and this is like a seawall. So I don't know. Was the levels lower when it was built? Here we go. Fort Jefferson, named for the third president, was designed to be a massive gun platform impervious to assault and able to destroy an enemy ship foolhardy enough to come within its range of its powerful guns. So yeah, it was designed to guard the piracy-prone shipping routes of the Caribbean, they say. Excuse me, got a bit of frog in my throat today. And here's their story of what it all is. This is a good photo. Look at that building. It's pretty awesome. A few ruins. And this is the cannon. So they've built this building with these thick walls and that, and they get a cannon and they sit it on a piece of wood with two little wooden legs, and this looks like it's been retrofitted from a table or something. Some iron legs there. Maybe they're wheels, but seriously? That's just, and that brickwork again. More than 16 million bricks were used. Blah blah blah. Here we go. So that's pretty much it. At one point, as many as 2,000 people lived in the fort, including soldiers and their families, prisoners, labourers, and lighthouse keepers, etc., etc. So that's how big it is. It can house 2,000 people. So the fort remained in federal hands throughout the Civil War, with the End of hostilities in 1865, the fort's population declined to 1,013, consisting of soldiers, civilians, etc. And then it was abandoned in July of 1865. The fort became the prison for 3 of the men convicted in the involvement in the assassination of President Abraham Lincoln. So there you go. That's Mudd. Mr. Mudd was there. He was a guy that they caught, and that's where the saying "your name is Mudd" comes from. So the fort was an active military post until 1874. Okay, and then by 1888, the military usefulness for Fort Jefferson had waned, and the cost to maintain the fort due to the effects of frequent hurricanes. Blah 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 blah. In 1888, the army turned it over to it as a marine hospital. So it was conceived in 1846. So it was only 42 years before, and then it wasn't finished till the 60s. It was only in use for 10 or 15 years, and then not even really. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Look at this is the inside again. Okay, so this is the bricks. Okay, so it says that the bricks came from a company called Pensacola. No, they weren't called Pensacola. They were called. Here we go. Sorry. If I mark bricks events, blah blah blah. Directed the firebox down here. Pensacola bricks. Okay, difficult. Yeah. So this is all about the bricks. Okay. So we say here, Florida under a contract with the Army, dated 25th August 1854. This is all trying to get the bricks from Ranford and Abercrombie. And quality control delayed delivery of the Pensacola bricks in significant quantities to the fort until 1858. Okay, now they started to try and build it in 1846. That's 12 years later. Following the development of an efficient brick-making machine. So when they started, they didn't even have the machines to make the bricks efficiently. I mean, come on. So from then until the start of the Civil War, the firm produced over 16 million bricks for the federal government, most of which were used in the construction of Fort Jefferson. Okay, and so this is Rayford and Abercrombie in Pensacola bricks. So I did a search, Pensacola, Florida. This is their history, building history. It does say no, it doesn't mention the bricks there. And this is what we get. They produced those 16 million bricks. So you would think it would have been one of the major industries of the time. We get 2 lines. Pensacola resident producing an amazing number of bricks. Any bricks from Pensacola can be found in several of the forts in the area. The museum has a portion of a kiln in the south. I mean, that's it. So, and this is Wikipedia, just about the fort. And I went through this, just Fort Jefferson, and you can read this yourself. You go through all this construction, tells you how they designed it, and they got the land for it, and they did all this stuff. But at no point do they say or mention how they got the bricks there. Like, where was this fleet of ships getting the bricks there? And I've looked and I haven't been able to find it. So if you can find anything on that, guys, I would appreciate if you'd leave something in the comments or message me. But yeah, so no mention of how they got the bricks there. It does say, this is the Army employed civilian carpenters, masons, general labourers to help construct the fort. By August 1855, 233 contract labourers were employed through this, though the slaves were the backbone of the labour gang. And that's pretty much, that's who built it. There's just a bit more on it there. So it's all a bit strange, guys. Like I said, if you've got any more info, let me know. But I found this when I was trying to find out how they moved the bricks, and this tells about how this is all about. How did they move the cannon? So this is all how do you move a 25-ton cannon to Tartaria National Park, which is the national park where Fort Jefferson, there where Fort Jefferson is. So this is how they moved 25-ton cannon, and I think there was 25 of these it's supposed to be 25 of them. But the answer provided to be a modern adaptation of old technology. Cranes weren't available, obviously, so the cannons were moved in. How were they moved? The museum curator Nancy Russell researched historical military manuals using old methods and equipment and inspiration for modern versions which could safely do the same task. Conservators worked with boat builders and metal fabricators to create these modern adaptations of historical cannon moving and lifting tools. Now these, okay, did you hear what I just read? Because these are not historical tools. This lady, Nancy Russell, researched historical military manuals using old methods and equipment as inspiration. So she's made this up. She's created her own tool. Okay, so in October and November of this year, visitors to the park were treated to the site of the 25-ton cannon lifted about 7.5 feet off the ground. But they were getting them in and out of boats and up on those turrets. Okay, the cannon was suspended in the air with a gun lift inspired by a circuit in 1876 Rodman lift, and it says here, utilising the modern moving tools, it took 3 men only 6 days to move and lift the 25-ton gun into position. And this is not on and off boats, guys. This is just getting it onto its trolley and up to a place where it can be shot from. So including assembling the tools and the equipment on the top of the fort, the carriage was assembled underneath by the gun by 4 men in 6 days, including bringing all the carriage pieces, some of which weighed almost 1,000 pounds, to the top of the fort. Okay, so that's 6 men, 5 days, 3 men, 6 days, just to get one cannon, from the bottom of the fort up onto the fort wall. Okay, so how are they getting these in and out of boats? And 25-ton cannons, and you need some pretty big boats. But as you can see in that, in the photos that I showed you, there wasn't deep water around the fort. There's no deep water there. So how are they getting them in close? We saw in some of those old lithographs they had some sort of dodgy wooden jetties and stuff, but I mean, really? This is something else that I just had when I was searching. So there are a few other little sort of houses that have been out, but this is what they're, this is tiny. So, and as you can, if you look at this house, it's just called Private Island, Florida Keys. It's no brick in it. It's all just prefab. Like they've brought across lightweight stuff to build this, and this has just been piled up. There's no bricks. There's no mortar because it's too hard. It's too hard to do these days. And this one as well is literally just like it's there. It's just off the coast. Like it's just there. And this is for sale for $10 million. So, this is what we're doing today, but 150 years ago we were building massive pentagon structures containing 16 million bricks. Alright guys, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. There's something I found that was really interesting, so if you know any more about this, leave me a comment. If you know of any other forts, out in the oceans or anything like this. It's not really a star fort, but it's kind of, it's obviously designed geometrically. So I hope you enjoy this. Leave me a like, comment, please subscribe. And guys, yes, remember, always be autodidactic. Self-education is the way forward. Have an amazing day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye now.